President Trump is ramping up his rhetoric against Iran, posting a veiled threat to the country's supreme leader and demanding unconditional surrender. Iran and Israel have been hurling attacks at each other since last Friday, when Israel launched preemptive strikes on Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile programs, while also assassinating top military officials. Trump is reportedly considering joining the fight on behalf of Israel to help destroy an underground nuclear facility. Joining us to discuss, Nile Sandage, White House columnist here at The Hill. Hey now, so Trump says he knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding, called him an easy target, but says he's not going to kill him for now. What goals do you think Trump is trying to achieve with these threats?
It seems plausible that what he's trying to do is intimidate the Iranian leadership, perhaps into agreeing quickly to some sort of deal over uranium enrichment that would be to Trump's liking. Certainly, he seems to be telegraphing very clearly that he is aligning himself more emphatically with Israel. Now, of course, his instincts have always been pro-Israel since the very start. But remember, Drew, we're less than a week from when Secretary of State Marco Rubio was responding to those initial Israeli strikes, talking about how it was a unilateral action by Benjamin Netanyahu's government. There's no sign of that kind of language at all anymore from the Trump administration.
Yeah, and can these type of public threats be successful, or does it make it harder for Iran's leaders to capitulate? Could this actually rally the people of Iran to support their leaders, as unpopular as they might be?
It's a great question, because I think despite the fact that there is certainly dissent against the Iranian leadership, that does not mean that the people of Iran are eager to see their nation overall humiliated, and there can easily be a rallying around the flag effect from these kind of threats, or of course from the military action by Israel. So I think it is dangerous or risky to suggest that simply by the President of the United States sending out these rather belligerent social media posts that the Iranian leadership will automatically toe the line in response.
Trump said earlier, we have complete control over the skies of Iran. We is the key word there. Sure makes it sound like the U.S. is already involved in this war, despite, as you pointed out, the Trump administration initially saying this was Israel's fight. Does Iran have any recourse? They can't defend their own airspace. Their regional proxies are silent. Their missile supply is limited, and they could struggle to replenish. Do they have any way of changing the dynamic?
I'm not sure that they have any way of changing the overall dynamic. The nature of warfare is that if you're fired on, you fire back. And of course, Iran has fired back at Israel. Some people have been killed in those Iranian reprisals, much fewer than have been killed in Iran by the Israeli assault. But, you know, in terms of does Iran have a game changer in their favor, it doesn't look likely to me. Now, of course, they can simply show defiance. They can try and continue with these attacks. Some people believe, Drew, that actually where Iran would be more dangerous would be with shorter range weapons aimed at American interests in the region, rather than those more medium and long range missiles headed to Israel. But of course, if Iran attacks American troops or American interests, it is absolutely sure, I would say, to bring the United States more directly into this conflict.
What do you make of the domestic politics at play here? Everyone is watching to see if the U.S. gets more involved, especially when it comes to bombing that underground nuclear facility. Vice President Vance made a long post on X today defending the administration's policy here, warning that the president may decide to take further action, judging by the comments under his post, and we'll take that for what it is. It was another kick to the MAGA hornet's nest that has been raging over the possibility of the U.S. getting involved in another foreign war.
Yeah, there is a genuine divide here, because one of the interesting things about the MAGA movement, or the America First movement, is that it has traditionally been much more skeptical than so-called establishment Republicans about American interventionism overseas, getting involved in foreign conflicts, getting sucked into what those guys see as other nations' battles. Now, right now, it seems to me that obviously President Trump is steering a very emphatically pro-Israel course, even more emphatic than he was a week ago. So we will see if that just moves the MAGA people reflexively behind Trump, or if dissent is still heard loudly. we've seen just in the past 24 to 48 hours an interesting little spat between Trump and Tucker Carlson, where Tucker Carlson, of course, is very skeptical indeed of American interventionism of any kind in this particular conflict, and Trump has been taking a few jabs at Carlson over that.
Is that dangerous for Trump when it comes to the coalition that he will need to, not only pass important legislation, but maintain the support that he needs to continue the policies of the administration? I mean, you have figures like Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon, who have some of the biggest megaphones on the right in this country, openly speaking against him. Is that a problem?
It could be a problem. It is certainly not typically good for any political leader if his supporters are split. And so to that extent, it could be a vulnerability for the president. That being said, we do have to factor in just what a personal hold he has over a lot of that MAGA movement. A lot of those people may have expressed dissent when that was more acceptable, or when Trump's position was that bit less emphatic than it is now. But frankly, I suspect the vast bulk of that movement will, in the end, follow Trump, whatever he says.
Be interesting to watch. Nile Sandage will continue to follow. Thanks so much for your insight.
Thanks, Drew.